Welcome everyone. Today is another episode of The Life of Charles Schmidt. Today is episode 10.
Episode 10.
We've gone a long way. We hope that any of you watching those videos have had fun, have learned anything from the videos. Charles, welcome one more time today to episode 10. Kudos to you for that. Today we will be talking about why is scholarships. We all have learned that you, Charles, have been very charitable about giving your money to different organizations, charities, and why not helping people. Therefore, today we'll be talking about why you choosing scholarships. Welcome one more time. Charles, let's begin by asking you, what role did education play in you?
Well, education. Generally, people think, go to school, get an education. The real education comes, from the everyday life. Like some of these real bright guys don't have a college education, didn't finish college, became very, very successful. I think teachers are so important. There's good teachers. Like my mother was a good housewife and mother, but not a particularly good teacher in that she wanted me to learn the piano. This is all good stuff. And another thing in the education process, I don't know how many people watch these YouTubes at this moment that we've started recording, and it's less than 10, and I probably watched them 8 times, so, I'm benefiting. I know how to do things a little bit, better, different, and I'm not trying to help the world or try to help. If I can help one person, if I make a significant difference to one person, he might go out.
I believe that you're already helping more than one person, because you're helping me and everyone around you, and then obviously anybody who watches these videos. At the moment, you may see that there's not that many people watching them, but believe it or not, my wife was actually watching one of your videos yesterday. Believe it or not,
I watch him. I learned what I could do. I watch Warren Buffett. He's 94 years old, and I think he's one real smart guy.
And I think it's interesting how you said, I hope I help one person, and I hope that they learn from this. But let me ask you a question: has there ever been a moment where anybody helped you to pursue your education?
Well, my dad helped me by supplying the money to go to Duke University, but I didn't realize the importance of the education. I was brought up under pretty strict discipline, in that my father, when I was a kid, like 6, 7, 8 years old, we'd go down to the workshop and he would make paddles on his jigsaw, and these paddles would be above the door sill, and if I did something wrong, I would get a spanking with the paddle. Now today, they might put him in jail or be abused, or they take his kids away. They would put me in a foster home or something. But this was his form of discipline, and somehow or another, at the end of my life, I turned out all okay in some respects, and then in many other respects, I didn't turn out okay. So,
speaking of turning, what was one lesson from your own schooling that still stick with you today?
Well, we have in this country a motivation. Success is money. Well, that's not necessarily true. And I had an old guy, when I first started into business, he'd bring me in, he was my teacher. And he's telling me about a stock that he likes, Berkshire Hathaway, in the 1960s. Well, I'll listen to it. I think I bought a few hundred shares from some clients and everything. Probably went up 1 or 2 points, and I sold it and told the customer to buy something else. Because I might make a commission on each transaction, not for somebody holding the stock forever. Well, if I'd have had the foresight of buying one, if I bought 100, well, anyway, one share of Berkshire Hathaway at $14 a share is now worth $880,000. And this is 60 years later. And it was Warren Buffett who was real good at investing, and he evaluated people. In other words, in my education, it's don't make mistakes on people. You know, they can give you bad information, they can shoot you, they can do something, or they can help you. This guy, Jim Simpson, was trying to help me to tell me to buy Berkshire Hathaway. I never, I bought some that I don't remember. And however, Warren Buffett, who great guy, great investor, great teacher, his wife left him. She didn't want this guy, she couldn't live with him anymore. She went out to California. Well, poor Warren Buffett, who's so great at investing, no good at cooking. He can't clean his house. He can't wash his clothes. He can't do anything. So the wife feels sorry for him. She finds him somebody else, a friend of hers, to move in with him and take care of him. And the new woman moves in and stays with him for 30, 40 years, something like that. So he's got good points and bad points, just like I have. I'm helpless in some respects, and I've got pretty good information and pretty good qualities in other respects.
Yeah, and I think it's important, to know, to be like a multi-use kind of like a multi-knowledge kind of person. But in your own eyes, what can education give a person? Because you just said we grew up with this idea of money is everything. But what can education give a person that pure money cannot?
Well, love. I mean, that's what people thrive on. Love, attention, companionship, friendship, trust. None of those are related to money.
That's great. All those things are amazingly great. One of the things that you and I have talked about on previous occasions has been about gratitude. I think gratitude, is a lot of time we take it for granted, but it's pretty well needed, is very well taken and appreciated by other people. So I think that it's a great thing to have, besides, everything else that you mentioned. Charles, you have been emphasizing a lot about giving and providing youth about education opportunities with some type of scholarships. Tell me, why do you choose the scholarships specifically as a way to give back?
I think these educational institutions have the ability and have the training to provide information to a student that they might not get at home, they might not get in the real world. I don't know whether this is the part on this, but I wish I had paid attention when I was going to school. I did not take school seriously. And as a result, I didn't learn what was available for me to learn at that time. I had to learn through hard knocks, pain, and suffering.
Well, one thing that you did learn is exactly what you just mentioned. You learned to become a multi-purpose, multi-knowledge person, and yet you didn't went to school for a specific trade or career, but here you are sharing your knowledge. Here you are actually giving and passing on a legacy that will probably outlive you. And speaking of legacy, tell us a little bit about what is the Old Charles Foundation?
Well, the old Charles Foundation is, of course, Old Charles, but it could be any old Charles. I specifically don't want to use my own name. I don't need accolades to myself. And besides that, I had an unfortunate experience, which in the scam part in the previous episodes, where my name was tarnished. And so somebody would say, well, you know what, anything he has to say, he's perverted, you shouldn't listen to him.
Speaking of saying, though, what is the goal of the Charles Foundation?
Well, the goal is to provide money to people that need some kind of resource, money, to get a further education so they can improve their life, in order that with their improved life and education, they can help somebody else. And, it feeds upon itself. It's just a vehicle, it's just a bank account, and I can write checks to say Old Charles Fund, and the institution that gets the money, and they say, thanks for the money, and this and that, and they do whatever they want to with it.
That's amazing. Is there any specific type of student, like a background, that you feel more passionate about giving, or anyone that needs it? What are you looking for?
I think that I'm a pretty good judge of telling who's motivated and who's not. In other words, who has a good chance of success and who's just, going through the exercise of what's in it for me, how can I help myself, and how can I get better clothes or better car or better this. And, I'm specifically interested in somebody that's doing something like Josiah, number one in his class or something down at Barry University. He was the head of the DSOA program. I liked him. I helped him. The school didn't want him to get a scholarship. I wanted him to get a scholarship. I gave him a scholarship. I gave him money. And I am delighted to have done that.
Amazing. And speaking of qualities that you described about Josiah, what qualities do you look in someone who applies for your scholarship?
Well, I'm looking for mental stability. Like the scammers, I said they wanted me to pay for the education for their daughter. And so I said, well, let me see a report card. Well, they didn't show me the report card, but they showed me something that she wrote. And it didn't make any sense at all to me. And it's not somebody that I would want to support. And it was through that I said, well, how about this other money? You want me to give money to your daughter? What'd you do with this other couple of $100,000 for the ROTC fund and the Charles Frederick Schmidt Foundation? I'm not entitled to know that.
That being said, would you prefer to personally meet the recipient yourself, or would you done it through a middleman, like an organization?
Well, I would like for this to carry on. I have yet to find. Well, I'm never going to find a perfect person to run it as well as I think I know how to run it, and I am certainly not a genius at managing money or selecting the proper causes or something like that. But I am motivated in the right way, whether I achieve my goals or not. I want somebody similar to that. I don't care if they make mistakes or they make a bad investment or they give some money to the wrong person or something. As long as they're motivated to do the right thing, to be generous and to teach other people to be generous.
That's amazing. What's one story from a scholarship recipient that really taught you? That you used to describe Josiah, for example, but what has been in a story that really impacted you from?
Well, one of the stories that touched my heart the most is my friend, the piano player, who is not just a piano player and a concert pianist all over the world, China, Japan, Germany, every place. When he left here, I brought him over here. This is the third time. But when I first knew him, he was selling his music CDs on the Queen Elizabeth for $20 a piece. And he said he's going to give the money to train children who wanted to learn how to play the piano. So I thought that was nice. So I got to know him. I sent him some money over there. See, he is not just a wonderful piano player, he is a piano teacher. So the first money I gave him was $100. The next money I gave him was $1,000. The next money I gave him was $10,000. I gave him a bunch of $10,000. The last time I gave $50,000 to have him come over here. So this guy has proved himself to be a teacher. But the greatest gratification that I have from that experience is he took the money and he sent it to families in Ukraine to bring the families over to London, where he lives now, to bring the children over to teach them how to play the piano.
That's amazing.
Now, there's an extent to that, and of course, the more you give, the more somebody wants more money. Now, he's come up with some Russian piano player that I think he sent me a video of her, and she's very good. But to train her for a year is going to cost $25,000. So I, in my own mind, I'm not going to support that. And the reason being is I want to support local people that I can see, that I can observe their success. I can be a part of their success. I can go to their graduation party. I can send them a graduation letter and a graduation check.
Speaking of success, what is your ultimate dream for the students that you help, other than just getting a diploma?
If I make a student's life better, I want that student to use what they know to make another student's life better, who will make another student's life better.
So in other words, you expect them to pay it forward?
Yeah. I would like to see what they're doing. Like I see the Mikhail, the piano player, that he supports these students. But I can't help everybody in the world. And I just get great joy with a person. I would like to be able to sit down and talk to Warren Buffett or Bill Gates or be in the same room with them. I was in the same room with Ken Langone and talked to him for less than a minute. But I have probably talked about him 100 times to people of what a great guy I think he is. I've read his book 3 times. I've watched his videos 20 times. But I consider Warren Buffett my good friend. I mean, not Warren, Ken Langone, even though I've only spent less than 1 minute with him in person.
And that's amazing that, how you learn from other people, and that's why beyond the scholarships that you will be giving or that you're already giving, other people also are benefiting from watching those videos and learning. Because you did mention one time that there's a lot of people out there that have better capabilities of giving, better than you, and that if they would do the same, I think the world will be a better place. But coming back to you, Charles, when you imagine the future, what will you make? When you imagine the future, what will make you feel Jesse's scholarship fund was worth it, or do you think it's gonna be like something like I should have done it? How do you imagine the future about it?
I don't know. And the reason I say that, I am not thinking 10 years, 20 years. I don't need to put my name on a building and it's going to be there for 100 years. I want to try to accomplish what I can today, and tomorrow I'm on the same journey, and then one day the journey is over, and and it either continues or not.
That's amazing. Charles, you already mentioned that you expect or that you hope for any of the recipients of your scholarships to pass it forward. But what, if you could give every recipient one life advice, what would that be?
Well, first of all, give every one piece of advice. Well, I think it's the same thing. If you consider yourself lucky to have been born, to have an opportunity to have a good life, eat good food, meet nice people, learn something, enjoy good music, and appreciate what God gave you, and then what you can do to make the world better for somebody else. Help them.
That's amazing that you said that, Charles. And I think that I second what you said. We have to be grateful for what we have and what we get. A lot of the times, we have a saying that, we always want things the way we want it, but we never appreciate the things we get them the way we get them. And when all is said and done, Charles, what matters to you the most? How much you gave, or what they did with it?
Well, it's what they did. I think that it's amazing what they did with it. It's not how much I gave or something, it's what they did with what I gave them. In other words, they're going to use it or not use it.
Charles, as always, we are about to coming to an end of these videos. But before we finish, I would like you to finish that one sentence for me. Education didn't change my life, but giving changed.
Giving gave me a reason to live to the next day. There was a time in my life a year ago where I was just wasting my life being the president of my condominium association. This is just about a building, a whole bunch of selfish people that want to blame somebody for the reason they're unhappy, and so they blame the president. I'm the president, so I'm responsible for everything that goes wrong, including having an assessment. That's one thing. Another thing that happened in my life, my sister excessively smoking, not contributing anything to the world. I'm worried about her. I go out to see her. I shouldn't be driving out there all the way out that nursing home, that nursing center. I drive up over the curb, almost killed myself coming back. She gets found on the floor 2 weeks before she died, drunk, 9:30 in the morning. And she passed away on St. Patrick's Day. That's supposed to be a lucky day, you know, that was, so those things out of my mind, my blood pressure came down. I don't have to waste my time worrying about this building or my sister, who neither one of them are going to contribute anything to the world. Now I'm focused on, you know, helping other people, and my blood pressure's come down, and I look forward to living another day after that. Whereas last year, my blood pressure's over 200, over 100, and I'm ready to pack it in. I think I'm going to die. Today's probably the last day. Now I have a reason to live, and the reason I have to live is I think that I have invaluable information to pass along to one, two, or more people, and I can't pass along if I'm dead. And while I'm still alive, that's what I'm going to do, and that gives me an incentive to stay alive.
Charles, that is amazing. We do hope to have you here for a longer period of time. Thank you so much for sharing. And to all of you out there watching, thank you one more time for watching this episode. Stay tuned for the next one.